OK， 所以我们再 refresh 一下上课我们 share about conquering fear. So in order for 我们的孩子 to break through 他们的 limit， 让他们敢 max out 他们的 potential， 我们到时候就要 get rid 我们自己的 fear， 因为我们 get rid 我们自己的 fear， 我们就会开始了解其实他们的感受是什么。我们要跟他讲的时候 the choice of words， 我们的 feeling， 我们的 emotion， 我们的 compassion 都会比较更加 alert 一点。我们要叫他 break 他自己的 fear。OK， so 刚刚 expose yourself， 你就 start with curiosity 咯。如果你可以 trigger 到那个好奇心，你的孩子 independently 想 achieve 到你想要他要 achieve 的 goal。So 我们 share about 那 example about 我孩子不想 travel， 然后我用 anime 用 cartoon 来 attract 他，连他自己想要去 Japan， 还记得那 example 吗？ OK， 那我们也是 share a little bit about anger， 我们有一点topic switch 了。 So 本来这个 topic 4是 about managing anger， 所以我们bring up forward， 因为有很多 question about managing angry kids。 所以我们第一个我们 share about 那个 emotion 咯。所以很多时候 anger 的 emotion before that 不一定是从 anger 开始，是可能他们 frustrated 伤心怕拍谁loss 不懂要怎样做所以才 trigger 到 emotion。Okay， 如果我们可以 教他们怎样 identify 那些 emotion， 他们会更加容易 express 自己。So before anger， 他们会 express 那些 emotion 先。Right？ 然后记得 even 如果生气了过后，很多时候那些生气就好像一个thunder lightning 这样子，好像 storm 它会 pass 了。只要我们 calm down， 就好像真的 storm 来 ，instead of 去 fight 那个 storm， 我骂那个 storm， 我们自己关那个窗，关那个门，自己慢慢冷静下来，那个 storm 会 pass， 跟小孩子一样。然后记得我们可以 train 他们，问他们 how long do you need to get angry？ 所以我们有一个 timeline 过后，你会看到他们的那个时间 of anger 会越来越短。Eventually from 一个一整天的 anger 或半天的 anger 会变成一个20秒的 anger。Okay？ 我们也是 share about 我们自己的appropriate behavior。所以 when 他们生气，我们也是生气的时候，我们要 start with 我们自己的 tone to be 一个 calm tone。所以我们跟他 share， 如果你可以像我这样子的语气讲话的时候，我们就可以谈我们讲解决这个东西，然后给点 leeway 来 negotiate 就可以给他们玩多了2分钟，给他们吃多一口他们想吃的东西 negotiate 就给他们 build in， 要拿到我要 achieve 东西，要像你的 tone 一样。And lastly， 我们 share about outlet。我们怎样都是 human being， 我们怎样都有 anger， 但是我们要 train 我们自己 and 我们的孩子就用话、用字、用 words 来 express。我现在 feel sad， 因为我吃不到我要吃的东西。我要玩更多，太好玩了，但是我还是不能玩，我很 frustrated， 就用 words。Okay？And breathing，lastly 是 breathing。这个是要 practice before 他 angry 的时候，然后有时是你教了 about breathing， 然后 anger 的时候他忘记不想，所以有时我们要很多机会，可能第一天还没有 anger， 我们用 breathing 教先，然后第二次我们再 remind。还记得如果我们生气的话看你还记得吗？我们要做什么breathing 来试一下。所以你可以2-3次在练习这个 breathing 的时候，但真的是 angry 的时候，你可以直接用。OK， 所以这个是一个 summary 啦，quick summary。So far。OK 吗？这个 summary 帮到吗？要 refresh 那个 memory 一下。OK， so 来我们 continue share 我们今天想 share 的 slide So far 有什么东西有 changes 吗 ？From 3个 lesson 有 practice 到什么，或你有 conquer 到什么 fear， 可以 share 下在那个 chat 里面吗？所以 at least 我看了有没有 progress， 还是我还有哪里可以再进步？share 一点你的 experience， type 在那个chat box 里面。
一句老师因为我们的同胞同学进来了 ，so maybe you can start to speak English already.
English, okay, sure. So I'd like to share more in English, Okay. All right. Hello. What's your name again? Farah, is it? Okay.
Hi, my name is Farah.
Hello.
Hello.
I'll try to speak more in English. Just now, I just summarized what we have.
It's okay. I understand because there was a slide, so it's okay.
Okay. Just a refresher. So let's go. Let's use more English, which is the language I'm more familiar with.
Yeah, okay, of course.
All right. So today's slide, we're gonna talk a little bit about maximizing learning. Okay. So when it comes to maximizing learning, one of the things that I find that usually stops people is a lot of self-doubt, a lot of negative self-talk. So what are examples of a negative self-talk? Like, oh, I cannot do anything right. Everything I do is always wrong. I'll never get it. I'm such a slow learner. Right? Or I'm going to fail again. If I try, I sure fail. I always get it wrong. These are the words that we sometimes say to ourselves. Sometimes we say out loud. Sometimes our kids say it. Sometimes we say to ourselves inside our brain. But we have to learn how to catch ourselves saying it. Yeah. And eventually, usually it all comes down to I'm not good enough. Whatever I'm doing, I'm not good enough. Okay. So try to write in the chat, what are your negative self-talk? Are you able to be aware of the things that you sometimes say to yourself that may hurt your own performance? Things that is not too positive, but you're saying to yourself on the limitation that you have. If you have it, do write it down in the chat box, and let's see what we have. So I like this interaction, so at least we can see each other's feedback. Huh? So for myself, my own negative self-talk is, I often say, oh, I cannot remember people's name very well. So whenever I say this, it often becomes true. The more I say it, the more I find it hard to remember someone's name. Yeah. But some people, they're really good with names, and they have some other negative self-talk. Like, for example, say, oh, I'm not good with numbers. And I will share with you, most business owners, not accounting based, usually they always say, oh, I'm bad with numbers. Especially teachers, educators, oh, I'm bad with numbers. I started like that. So I'm bad with numbers. I'm bad with managing people. But when I learned how to change my negative self-talk, or I be aware first, when I start writing it down, I start to look for solutions already. Yeah. Like I become very good at memorizing car park locations. When I learn techniques like, okay, if I see B7, then remember like 7 balls. Yeah. So these are things, techniques that help us remember better. So if we want to really achieve whatever we think it's negative, we write it down, then it will help. Okay, now I'm trying to see the chat. Anyone type something? Help my son conquer fear watching ghost movie. The Mandarin 华语还是这样写什么 Philip？
华语是我们工作人员的翻译，是
说
分享一些你常有的一些负面想法。
是吧？没有人 share 到啊，但是写下来是很重要的 ，very important to write it down if you have a negative self-talk. But it's not easy to identify. But if you are able to identify, that is always the first step to improving. Okay, so what do we do with this? Because sometimes when students come, they already have this negative self-talk, and we as a coach, we have to fix it. We cannot feel like, oh, this student very hard to teach really. They think very poorly of themselves and we cannot do anything. We must be able to do something. And that's why I want to share with you why is because sometimes we as a parents, maybe we indirectly cause the negative self-talk and we are aware, sometimes we are guilty about it. So if we are able to identify first, then we can still fix it. Anything can be fixed on. We have students who come to our class with strong fear by the previous coach and feel like, oh, cannot reverse already. It's a psychological thing, but everything can be fixed on. We just need the methods only. Okay. So why this negative self-talk? I highlight so much about it because eventually we must know that the way we talk to our children is the single greatest factor in shaping their personality and their self-confidence. Yeah. 我们用的话 for 我们的孩子是一个最重要的把他摸他的性格出来，摸他的自尊心，他的self-confidence 是信心。So self-confidence 信心是那个 foundation. What builds the self-confidence is self-esteem 自尊心。So what is self-esteem is how much you like yourself, how much your kid like themselves, how much the kid respect themselves. So if you're able to build their self-esteem, their self-confidence will rise up together as well. Yeah. So how do we build their self-esteem? How do we make sure that they like themselves, they respect themselves? One of the biggest factor that I see is to help them make choices. Yeah, before we go into that, always remember that our kids needs rules. Yeah, our kids want rules or guidance in a way of what they can do, what they cannot do. We need to establish how to communicate, what is discipline, what is obedience. The kids really want this. They want to be provided with guidance so they know what to expect. If something happens, they know what went wrong. They need consistency. If I break a rule or if I do something right, I get rewarded. They need those rules and structures and consistencies. And this is a very important place to start. Yeah. Why do I mention about this? Because sometimes we as a parent or we as an educator, we model our own parent. We model our past educators. So sometimes our educator or our parent is too strict with us, to a point that we feel, oh, I don't want to be such a strict parent. It has hurt me a lot. So I want to be more friend with my kid. So sometimes when we are too friend, we try to let loose a lot of rules. We will let them do too much of what they want. Yeah. So rules is very important to establish. And later we'll go into more examples about rules, and I'll share about rules that I applied that are successful, even rules that I applied that are not successful as well. Huh? But very important, must think about rules. Everybody should have rules, but we have to always review, is our rules right? Just like policies for our country, must it be always reviewed? Is the policy outdated? Is the rules outdated? We must learn how to update them as well. Yeah? So once we are able to establish rules, then we must learn how to empower our kids to make decisions. When they are able to make decisions, that's where their self-esteem will grow. When their self-esteem will grow, they like themselves for making great decisions. They are okay with failing with the wrong decisions. Their self-confidence will build. Yeah. So start by empowering them to make decisions. So I want to provide more examples of step by step. Huh? So when it comes to the example of self-confidence, because I got one of the questions from parents is, my kids have not so high self-confidence. She always thinks that she's not doing well. How do I build her self-confidence? So one of the example, I would say level 1. So let's say level 1 is, let's say if you have not given them too much choice. Most of the time you say, you eat this, you do what I say, you cannot go here, you must do this. If you have always been dictating their every move and you're thinking of giving them some choice already, so one of the best way to start is to give a yes choice, yes or yes choice. Yeah. What is a yes or yes choice? It's like, okay, do you want to clear your toys or do you want to keep your book in order first? Yeah, both things may not be what they want to do, but it's what you want to do. And sometimes you need to learn how to give that choice. Like for example, a lot of kids, when they come to us, they're very fearful of water. They're very scared of water. They feel that, oh, I don't like swimming lesson. I don't like teachers. So whenever they come, I see that. First, I get them to follow instruction by getting them to do stretching. Stretching that's fun and easy. They can get it. Then I get them to shower. They can shower. I compliment them for being able to shower on your own. Then the next part is, when we're about to go into water, I cannot ask them, do you want to learn how to swim? If I ask them, do you want to learn how to swim? I get 2 potential answers. Yes, I want, and no, I don't want to swim. So I don't give them this choice. I ask them, so do you want to start learning swimming in a small pool or a big pool? So that's the choice I give them, a yes or a yes. Yeah. So end of the day, all kids who don't want to learn swim, they always start, okay, I want a small pool. Okay. Once you start giving this yes or yes option already, the next part is important, where you need to compliment them for their good choice, relate to their choice, and most importantly, give them a reason. For example, for my swimming example, once I ask them, so you want a small pool or big pool? Then they say, I want small pool. I say, oh, good choice. I also think we should start a small pool. Why? Is because when you started learning swimming, there's a lot of things you're not sure. You must practice in a small pool first, then it's safer. Once you get better, we'll go into deep pool. Is that okay? So they will say, okay, because they only remember that I'm agreeing with their choice. But I'm also giving them a hint that when you're ready, we are going to a deep pool, okay? And they agreed. They say, okay. So I'm preparing for 2 things. 1, they get to do what I want now, which is a small pool. I give them a reason because they are not ready yet. And 2, when they are ready, we're going to deep pool. They agreed. So it helps me build up the next option that whenever I say, okay, time to practice this in a deep pool, you're going to be safe, I will help you. So when they practice, right, they go to a deep pool, I don't immediately hold them in a deep pool very long. I just test something, let's say they're able to blow bubble in a small pool, I bring them to a deep pool to blow bubble again, then I bring them immediately to a small pool. So they keep feeling, hey, it's actually safe. Big pool, small pool is actually the same, it's actually safe. I will listen to what the teacher said. That's how I build their confidence. That's why I build their trust in me to follow my choices that I give to them. So to a point, I said, okay, are you ready to go to the deep pool? Because just now they already tried the deep pool blowing bubbles. They said, yes, they want to go in. So this is the way I get them to make choices of yes and yes first. And so this is a way to start level 1. And I also like to build a follow-up questions. Let's say if they make a wrong choice, sometimes I would say, even if we make the wrong choice, it's okay. Yeah, because I want them to feel that if we fail, it's all right. Nobody will scold you. If you make a wrong choice, let's say I ask them, okay, do you want to play the slide first, or do you want to learn how to not let water go into your nose first? So sometimes I say, I want to play the slide. Now I ask, what if you're going to slide too fast and water going into your nose? Maybe should we learn how to blow the bubbles first to make sure water don't go into your nose? Then they say yes. And then for that, okay, they in the end they go back to my choice, right? But they understand why. So I tell them, okay, the slide is also a good choice, but before that choice, we must learn how to learn some important things first. Then only you play. Then I also want your choice. I also like to play on the slide. So remember to relate to them. I love your choice also. That's how you build bond. That's how you build a better friend-friend relationship. Yeah, agreeing with your choice. Right? Sounds good so far. So then, whenever they start making their own choices for the second time, the third time, as they start making good choices already, I would ask them, so could you make your own choices? Do you like to choose? They said yes. Then they feel more confident. They feel, yes, I like to make choices. I can make choices on my own. Then I reassure them. I ask them again. I keep repeating. So what if you make the wrong choice? Is it okay? They say, okay. I'm not worried. Yeah. So these are ways that I build. Then level 2. Once they're able to make more choices already, now it's time to learn how to replace your own decisions that you usually make, that they don't make, and make it their decisions. So let me give you an example. So level 2, let's say if you cook something very nice, you cook a very nice curry chicken, right? And you already want to give to your neighbor, but this is a good opportunity to give them a chance. So maybe before that, you have to start teaching about sharing is caring, love your neighbor, you teach all these values, they understand it. Now, when it's time, you take the opportunity to say, I just cooked this very nice curry. Do you think we should share with our neighbor? Then they would normally they will say yes already. Why? Because earlier you've already built up the value of sharing is caring, love your neighbor. Yeah. So these are things that they naturally make those decisions that you shared earlier. Now, once you're able to do that, they say, yes, I want to share with my neighbor. Then you can start building the momentum of, are you sure? Are you confident of your answers? Then sometimes you must explain what is confident. Confidence is like, are you very, very sure? And say, yes, because mommy said sharing is caring. Oh, that is good. I love that you remember sharing is caring. But what if they don't like it? So you must learn to create some intensity. Yeah, must create some drama. So then they feel excited. They feel that their action may be wrong. Yeah. So what if they don't like it? What if it's not nice? Then you let them convince you. Okay. So this is a way to empower that their choice will have impact whether it can go well or don't go well. Right? So what's after that? Then you must bring them together when you give that neighbor that curry chicken. Because when you bring that curry chicken there, their neighbor will show the expression, wow, so nice of you. Then you can start sharing, oh, that decision to share is actually by my daughter. My daughter said he wants to share this chicken with you. Yeah, then the daughter can see their face expression, wow, you're so clever, wow, so nice of you. Then what happens is they start to see the consequences of their choice. Their choice actually makes someone happy. I like to make choices. I don't need to be afraid even if they don't like it. Yeah. So these are a lot of opportunities that you need to build and create. Think of the value. What else do you want them to make choices? Yeah. Then always agree, always complement their choices both in public and in private. So one time you compliment them in front of that neighbor, then when you go back, wow, I like your choice. I'm glad I followed your choice. I was worried that they didn't like it. Actually, if they don't like it, it's still okay. I can improve, right? So you see, you're using your own lesson to actually teach them. And it's a lot more impactful because it seems like you're teaching yourself. And it shows that you're humble enough to learn. And they will pick that up very subtly. They will learn that it's okay to be humble to learn. Yeah, it's okay even if you're adults, you're not sure. It's okay to be not sure. Yeah, so these are the important lessons that you can make in this step 2. Compliment them and re-highlight again about on the drama part, on the intensity part. Huh? Everything okay so far? If everything okay, give me a okay sign. You're happy with this? Then let's go with level 3. What happens next? So level 3 is responsible decision making. So now you need to give them real life consequences of their action, which you know that wouldn't harm them too much, but will have quite some impact. So let's say, for example, you can start playing with them and they enjoy it. The next day you play with them. The next day you ask them a question in the evening when you're supposed to cook. Okay, so let's say when you're supposed to cook, that's where you ask them, I love what you're playing. Can I play together? But I need to cook. You think I should cook first or we should play first? So you give them this real choice. And if they are so happy about yesterday's play, they will say play first. You see, you are actually leading them towards that choice. And they will make that choice on their own, but it's a momentum that they build. And this is something that I like to call controlled failure. You intentionally let them fail, but in a controlled environment, because you are about to teach a lesson already. So in the end, they say, no, let's play. I say, okay, let's not cook, let's play. Then you play for a very long time until both of you are hungry. Yeah, so this is a real life consequences. Hunger is a consequences, but know that hunger one day or one meal cannot die. Yeah, so there's some pain or there's some discomfort, but it's a very important lesson. So then they make the wrong decision already. You're so hungry. I'm also so hungry. What should we do? We cannot eat already. Or maybe we should eat outside, or we can only eat something that's, let's say, I will just tell them, oh, now so late, there's only broccolis available. Oh, now we can only eat broccoli for dinner. Let's say if they don't like broccoli. Yeah. So these are the things that you can play with it. So in the end, they know, my choice got consequences. Then you can start discussing what can be a better choice and what should we do differently in future. Yeah. What do we do now? So learn how to problem solve. So they learn that now we already have a problem. How do we solve it? So you don't go into like a complaint mode. If I know, I would have did this. So it's more like, what should we do now? How do we move on from this? How do we do things better? Yeah. To let them make those choices. Maybe we can do this, maybe we can do that. Let them make those choices. How about in future? If we meet this again, but I really like to play with you. But then, how do we make better choices? So sometimes you have to guide them. Maybe, what about the timing? If we play, it must be before cooking dinner or like after we eat. Can we make those choices? Can we be better at timing? Then you can teach something about timing, right? Okay. So always share about what do we do when we went wrong. So if I were to play this scenario, I would involve someone else. I would involve my wife. So she also don't get to eat. Maybe she come back, she didn't get to eat. Then, but I preempt her in advance, so at least she know this will happen. So then she will play together with the drama. What do we do? We must learn how to apologize to mommy. Sorry, mommy, we play too much until we forget to cook. That's my mistake. That's both our mistake. So we learn how to apologize. So this is something that you're building them that in future, making mistakes is okay, but you must learn how to apologize. So then you don't get caught off guard. Because sometimes the mistake they make, then the consequences is very big. Then you tend to get angry, right? So I tend to quickly want to solve the problem because it embarrass them or embarrass you. So these are ways that you can plan out. You can plan, you can create the outcome, you can create the lesson. Eventually, it goes towards the way that you want to do it. Okay, so I'd like to share another of my example that I use. one of the things that I had challenged when my kid was 6 years old. So when we go to supermarket, right, he often let go of my hand. He run and see what he wants to see. Maybe toy shop or video store, get to see movie. So every time I need to chase him, you know. So these are things that I start to get worried. What if one day if I miss, then he get lost, or I have to check him, that'll be very, very mafan for me. And I have to keep scolding, I have to keep reminding. I want this to be more automated. So I planned with my wife, say, we're going to pretend to be lost. So the time when he actually let go of my hand again, he went to watch a movie, we hide. Me and my wife, we hide. My wife was very worried, what, cannot, heartache. Then he actually cannot find us, then start crying. Instead of going instantly, I let him cry a bit longer. So this is like a controlled failure. I let him, everybody's looking at him, then he's like a bit embarrassed. Then I came up. You got lost, right? I also cannot find you, I was so worried. So you see, we get to play this scenario in real life. Then they get to know the consequences of their action. Then eventually I said, okay, in future, I will not look at you. If you go away, you want to go away, you can. But if you are lost, then this thing will happen again. But in future, it's your responsibility to look for me. Whenever you go out, you must keep looking at me, because I will not look at you. I will not care if you are looking, whether you get lost or not, because I also want to go to my place that I want to go. So from that time on, every time he will run far in front. He sees the toy shop far in front, he doesn't like last minute, he'll go run right in front, he look at it, look at me, look at it, look at me, until I pass by, it comes to me. So that was automated for the rest of the years really. I do not need to look for him, he's always looking at me. But of course, I still need to pick up just in case he miss out, no? But after that, it was really automated. Every time I go shopping center, I don't need to worry really. So these are the things that is a very tough choice. He needs to cry, but it's a very controlled environment. So that was my strategy. And it worked well for me. But I also want to share with you a strategy that I applied, very similar. It feels like really cruel. And I feel that in the long term, it wasn't effective. So what was that strategy was, when I was young, I wanted him to eat veggie. So when I was younger, when I was explaining, he couldn't understand. He just didn't want understand the benefits of eating vegetable, that I had to force. So I forced him. I said, okay, whenever we go out, you have to eat veggie, and if you don't eat it, I have to make sure that we don't go back. Okay, so he knows that he has no choice. What he did was, every time he eat veggie, he immediately warm it up. So the second time, I told him, okay, if you warm it up, you have to eat your vomit. So it's like a very cruel thing. You have to eat your vomit. It sounds very cruel to me, so I know, very heartache, but I had to say it. So in the end, it's like he didn't believe. Then in the end, I take the spoon, say, okay, you have to eat it. Then when he actually warm it up, and he almost felt I need to eat it, I said, okay, last chance. He said, okay, we're gonna have a last chance. You must eat your veggie, but I give you a choice this time. We always go to Chap Fan. So I said, there's 20 over veggies here. You get to choose what you want to eat. So from there, he get to learn, okay, what is a veggie? Potato, is it veggie now? Mushroom, is it veggie now? He get to choose it. Then from that time on, he always eats. So it become very convenient for me, because the rest of the years, for next 7-8 years, he always make that choice. You see, I'm eating mushroom is a veggie. You see, I'm eating a tomato, you know. So he starts to make his own choices. And I thought that was pretty good, because in a few years, it's automated. But what I realized is when he reached 14, 15 years old, I let him make more choices. I realized he stopped eating veggie as well. Yeah, so for a year or two, I feel that I cannot convince him to eat veggie. And that's where I get a bit stuck. I feel, it's not something genuine that he really likes. So when he gets to make his own decision, he doesn't do it anymore. Yeah. So then I have to change my strategy. At that time, he's already 15 years old. So I started to share about what he really likes. He likes basketball. He likes to grow tall. His friends are laughing at him that's short. So I have to link about veggie to nutrition, to how it affects the height, how it affects growth. Then from there, as I explained, at that age, he can pick it up already. So from that time on, strategy changes. He starts to eat more veggie on his own. But the 2 years, 14, 15 years old, he doesn't eat because it's not his choice. Yeah. So what I'm saying is, not all strategies work long term. Yeah. So we have to change our tactics as well over time as they mature. Okay. So I hope this decision-making thing can help trigger some ideas on how you can get them to go into different levels of decision-making. And another thing, we talk about modeling behaviors, right? When it comes to self-confidence, when it comes to self-esteem, sometimes one of the things I find it affects is because we complain too much. We complain whether it's about someone else or we complain about them. It affects them. So I look at some examples that I experience. I'm not sure whether you use the same words also or not. So one of the common words that we used to use, or I've always experienced, is, "Aya, why you always forget?" What's a better word for why you always forget? We'll remember it next time. This is something I very, very often use. Whenever my student themselves, they say to themselves, "Aya, I forget this again. Aya, I always forget." I replace, don't worry. It's very normal because we have so many things to remember. We just need to remember step 1, step 2, step 3. If you forget about it, it's okay. Just recall back again. You remember it next time. Next time you get it already. Just a bit of practice. So this is more encouraging. Yeah. Sometimes cannot tahan already. They don't get it. Sometimes words might come up. "Wow, you're so stupid. Why so long already still cannot understand?" And once I started coaching, I stopped using this word stupid. This is something that I limit myself because I realize it's very harmful. It's a rebranding word that it makes them believe that they are not smart. Yeah. And I also realize this because I keep reflecting back on how my parents used to teach me, how my evil babysitter used to teach me. These are the choices that they use, and I see the effects of it. Yeah. So instead of labeling them as not smart or stupid, sometimes I just chat, you got it wrong this time. If we change this decision in future, you get it already. Yeah. Sometimes, you're so clumsy, you fall down again, you drop this again. This often comes up when the same mistake happens 3, 4, 5 times. Every time when it happens 3, 4, 5 times, it's very common to get frustrated and say things like that. So learn how to limit ourselves on what are things that I will not say in future. So these are a few things. So instead of saying, you're so clumsy, we'll be more careful in future. Yeah, this is a good word. Even if you have to say it for the 5th time, the 10th time, learn how to use these words. You're not paying attention. Change to, when we focus, we'll be able to remember better. Sometimes they really just miss focus. So when they don't pay attention again, we didn't focus this time. We missed certain words. Okay, if we listen to the whole word, we were able to remember everything. Watch our tone. Very often it's our tone will express out our frustration. Yeah, watch our tone. When we say this, we're able to convince them. This is very common. I used to get most of the time. And this is something that I feel that's why I'm so rebellious. Every time I go to wedding, I go and meet someone outside, my mom will always say, "Why you never call auntie? Why you never call Jeje?" So then I keep thinking myself, why I never call? Yeah, I never call. So it becomes like my personality I don't want to call because I never call. I only realized this when I'm an adult. I didn't realize when I was a child why I was so rebellious. Then I started to pick up, actually, this is something that you labeled me so that I believe that this is what I am. Yeah, so I test this on my child. So instead of saying you never call people, I would brief them in future before we even go to the wedding. Before go to the wedding, I say, okay, remember when you meet this person that you never know, don't call him auntie, call him Jeje. Say, "Hi, Jeje." Then he said, "So how to know whether auntie or Jeje?" I said, to be safe, you call everyone Jeje. Everyone will give you a big smile to their face. So then they learn something new like this. Then they start testing out. They see, "Hi, Jeje." Then you see the smile on their face, right? Wow, so sweet. Then they learn it. Oh, this is something good. Then again, I compliment him in front of my wife. Yeah. So whenever I teach him this, I don't teach him together with my wife. I teach him in private. So I got my second chance to compliment him in front of my wife. "Wow, just now go wedding, so good. He called the girl, the other teacher. I was so happy." And the third person also said the same thing. So you see, then it becomes like a branded thing. I just need to implement once. I compliment him in front of my wife once. I compliment him in front of his grandma once. So I compliment a few times, it becomes him. And it's really automated already. I do not need to remind him to call auntie ever again. And it works. Yeah. So this branding thing is very important. So instead of complaining, realize if whenever we are complaining, right, if we really want to fix it, we must be able to write it down. Hey, this is complaining. This is labeling him as something. Once you sit right down, you don't have a solution, it's okay. Start with this first. Start with writing it down first. I believe you will be able to find an alternative. And I'll send you this slide so you can get some ideas on how to tweak. If you're not sure, ask in the group. I can help you find an alternative as well. Okay. So then, one of the common things that if you don't help them, we don't let them make too much decisions. So sometimes we will start to notice they stop making their own decisions already. And we start to see that there's very low self-confidence. And sometimes we relabel them again. Hey, why can't you make your own decision? You must make your own decision. You're a big girl already. So remember, when we ask why, and we label them, they also don't know why, they will believe, yeah, Lord, why I cannot make my own decision? I'm a person who cannot make my own decision. Yeah, so remember, this kind of words is very self-defeating. We don't want something, but when we label them, it becomes real. Yeah? So we can always say, let's see how we can make a better decision. So we guide them through the process. So what do you want to eat for lunch? I don't know. Let's see how we can decide. Do we want to eat something spicy, or do we want to eat something delicious? Do we want to eat something healthy today, or do we want to eat something that is a bit more sweet today? Give them some guidance, yeah, so they don't make a decision. Yeah. Okay. Thanks, coach. I have to leave earlier because got meeting. All right, Eileen, thank you. All right, so remember to use words to uplift your child. Okay, so our words are very important. Our words make a whole difference. Our words shape their personality. Our words shape their self-confidence. And remember, even if we make a mistake earlier in the past, there's always time to readjust, reset. Just like a swimming coach, taken a student who have been damaged already, who have a lot of phobia already, can be fixed. Just learn how to guide them a little bit through their experience. And sometimes we again angry or again lose patience. It's okay. Just be aware, write it down, readjust, and fix again. Yeah, it's a never-ending process. Okay, so I hope that helps. So I want that's it for my main sharing today, based on the question on a few questions on self-confidence. And I want to just answer a few questions. One is from the WhatsApp group where we share where kids are not able to go out and play. So, and they get frustrated and get angry, and it's like a never-ending chain. They angry, you angry, then the whole house very stressed, right? So I want to share a little bit about, I think I shared this last week, but let me just show you an example of how I do it, of how we actually create some time to bond, right? So let me just stop sharing this slide. Let me share the video. Okay, are you able to see my video? If you can see it, please show me an okay on the video sign. You can see, yeah? Okay. 3, 2, 1, go! So this is like an exercise that I want them to do. So it's a really tough exercise, but I use toys to put into it. They start to have fun already. So a little bit of jumping, skipping rope is a bit boring. So do a little bit more interactive. Then don't just let them play. You play as well and be a bit silly. Yeah? Play for yourself a little bit that they laugh. Sometimes games like this can be very, very simple. Use things that you're already available at your house. Don't need to buy new toys. Just use whatever you have at home. All these toys are not his toys. All these toys are like the dog's toys that they're chewy toys. So we just play with it as well. So then you have to come up with rules on how to win, how to play. You can use this as a reference. So sometimes we feel, I'm not so creative to think about how to do this. Copy first. Copy it. Then sometimes you ask them, okay, what else can you think about? What else can you do as well? Okay. Let's go. 2. So sometimes we also can create some purpose fail. Let me see. So I know they cannot do it, but I still ask him to try, just to have some fun. So remember, when we want to do something serious, we don't need to just think about the lesson all the time. think about making things that's silly, that's not supposed to be there, not supposed to do it that way, then they can laugh as well, so they enjoy the process. Yeah. So this is, I hope that helps with your, ideas on how to have some activities with your kids. And I've also shared the geography game as well. You can play those games with your kids, have some challenge with them. And my son now, he's already 16 years old, so I played Monopoly with him. My younger one, it's 7 years old, he cannot play Monopoly, so I just get him to be a banker. Every time he pass go, he just give that 2 million. It's something that we incorporate everybody so they can play together. So these are things that you can be their friend, but remember, you can set rules, because you have your parenting time, you have your own working time. Sometimes you're working from home, sometimes you need to do your house chores as well. So remember to set rules where, okay, I can play at this hour to this hour, 3 to 5. Okay, 3 to 5 time is our play time. Then I need you to prepare the Milo, I need you to prepare the chairs for the obstacle course. If you can do this, then 3 to 5 you play. So you must learn how to set a boundary. Yeah? So you don't just, everything is about them, you have your me time as well. So one of the lines that I draw is my room. So my son cannot go to my room. So every time when I go to my room, that's the place that you cannot go to. You can knock if you want. So if you knock, I answer, then you can come in. If I don't answer, you cannot come in. So that gives me my personal space. Because nowadays, when it comes to CMCO, a lot of parents at home, when we don't have our personal space everywhere so our kids can go, that's where we get a lot stressed out. Yeah. So remember, not just have time for our kids, but have time for ourselves as well. That's a very important balance to have. Yeah. So I hope that's some ideas for you. I think I saw some chat. Let me just open up the chat. Suen says, common feedback I get, you ask me to make decision and you say my decision is not good and still go with what you want. I might as well no need to make decision since you override it. That's right. That's very true. And that's the same feedback that my wife also asked. Yeah. So one of the things is the reasoning is important. So sometimes when I want to give them a decision, I must plan out first. If they say yes, what do I say? If they go to another choice, I must give them another type of reasoning where it makes sense for them, not just makes sense for us. So there's a lot of times where we say, if you do that, you'll be wasting time. So if you say wasting time, then you feel like they don't know the concept of time. What is time is important. So sometimes we can share things like, if we don't leave now, then later you don't get to sleep earlier, where I cannot share a bedtime story with you. So something like a benefit for them. Yeah. Or you don't get to shower, whereas we have to immediately sleep already. So then you have to sleep very smelly, and we don't want to sleep very smelly, right? So we have to think in terms of what's benefit for them and not for you. So these are the choices where when we think about choice we want to give them, think about what's the next benefit that they will lose if they make the second choice, right? So sometimes you also have to plan out decisions that they can make and they will get what they want and it's not what you want. So there's that flexibility as well. So you cannot win all the time. So in order for you not to win all the time, you must create choices where you will lose. Right? So sometimes, let's say you let them play 1 hour. Don't let them play 1 hour. You say, okay, you get to play half an hour. So after half an hour already, so it's time for us to finish that playing time. So should I give you another half an hour or should we go straight to shower? Then they definitely choose the half an hour. Okay, I give it to you this time. But remember later, you have to shower right after the play game. Not half an hour, that's the limit. So there's some negotiating power. So one of the things that parents usually make a mistake is we silang, we give everything to them. We want 1 hour, we give them whole 1 hour. So don't do that. Break it into a few sections so you can have negotiation space. Yeah. So plan your time. You know the next hour they need to go for tuition. So just say, okay, we're going to play for 20 minutes. So every time just have that negotiation thing going on. So it also trains them how to negotiate. It trains them not to just, you say what, then they say what. They just take what. They learn how to discuss. They learn how to give you reasons why they need this. Yeah, it makes them a bit smarter. My mom used to say, okay, you can play, but I don't think play is very productive unless you can learn something from it. So every time I start to find, okay, I learn a new words, machete. Mom, I learned machete from it. Then it's like, what's machete? You don't know, machete is a type of knife. It's a big blade. I learned about curling blade. I learned about Gatling machine gun. So I got very excited to share new words with her. Yeah, so these are the ways that my mom trained me in order to, while I play, but I must learn something from it. So this, I hope a few ideas can help you about managing kids. Thanks for the chat, Suen. So another question that I had was how to make Chinese character interesting. So learning Chinese character, this is not my specialty. I teach swimming, but this is from my personal experience where when I learned Mandarin, I failed my Mandarin, but one of the teachers that helped me enjoy Mandarin better was, he helped me go back to basics again. He helped me learn about origins of words. So every word would have something close to the picture meaning, right? So my teacher would go online and look for pictures like this, or she would draw for me. I like this papa, I don't want to show the mustache, right? So this is a very cute way of relating the word. So as a child, every word that I start to learn from Mandarin, I start to see what is the picture behind it. Like a tree, then I would draw the tree. Da, big, I would draw like distance between my hand and my legs. So these are ways that I think can make learning Chinese characters more interesting. Yeah. So every time when we learn, we want to teach something, look for the fun part. Kids love colors, kids love pictures. Yeah. Hope that helps you, teacher. And next question, and it's the last question where she asked, I didn't mention the name of the person who asked because I'm not sure whether you're comfortable if I'm sharing the name. Yeah, so I'm just sharing the question itself. So the question was how to make online learning interesting. So a lot of teachers are having a lot of challenges teaching online. It's getting really tired. Kids are spending a lot of time online. So I'll share my personal experience during MCO and CMCO, 6 months that we are not teaching swimming. We don't have a swimming pool. The swimming pool is closed, so we cannot teach swimming. So we actually brought our swimming lessons online. Crazy, like we teach swimming without a swimming pool. So I just want to show you a slide of how we do it and how we make it interesting. So let me just stop sharing this and share the next slide. Okay. Are you able to see the full screen? Give me a thumbs up. There's sometimes some technical error, I'm not too sure. Okay, so in swimming, we bring our swimming lessons online. One of the challenges that we think about is, why does parents want to pay us to learn online? They already have so many online classes. Why does parents want to learn from us when there's so many free contents on YouTube? So we need to be a bit more innovative. How do we win YouTube when YouTube is free, right? So we think about, okay, swimming is important, but what's also important for parents is science. Parents want kids to be more curious. Parents want kids to be more scientific. Maybe they become a doctor one day, maybe become a scientist one day. So we think about how do we apply swimming to science, and also how does it apply in the real world? So it brings out their imagination. Yeah. So one of this topic, I'm not going to go through the whole lecture. This whole slide is like 30 minutes, so I'm just going to summarize it for 10 minutes. So this is one of the topics we teach about, resistance. So we share the definition. What is resistance? Something that slows you down. So these are the three things we always keep in mind. Every time we teach, we talk about the science part, about the theory, we talk about the swimming part, then we talk about real world applications. Yeah. So let's talk about the science part. So when it comes to swimming, less resistance is good. Less resistance comes from less friction. So what is friction? So friction is when you have two surfaces rubbing each other. So you see, very simple for 4 to 7 years old, they can understand. Even 9 years old, they may not know this word, what is resistance, what is friction. They get to learn about it and make it really simple to understand. Then we use a lot of pictures. How to make it interesting for kids is use a lot of pictures. So we share things like, okay, this is a rough surface that has high friction. This is a smooth surface with low friction. So we use the words again, pictures, colors, so they can remember. So when you have rough friction, it makes you move slower. Smooth friction, you can actually glide, you can move faster. So what is friction again? So friction, is it rough or smooth? So Which one is better? Smooth is better. So sometimes we take some videos or animation that makes it like funny, or kids will get, whoa, what's that? They get shocked by the screen. So these are things that can make it interesting for kids as well. Yeah? So then we talk about swimming part. How does friction relate to swimming? So what causes friction in swimming? One, it could be hair. That's why I see a lot of swimmers that have very little hair, right? They usually shave. And another thing is the materials of the clothes. Yeah, the clothes is very important. So this is simple level. We start with very generic material. We haven't gone deep into what kind of materials. That's like the advanced one. So basic, we start with simple things like this. So they can laugh when they see pictures. Ah, this guy's so hairy. I've never seen a hairy guy before. So these are things that can entertain kids. So then we go into Q&A. So just now we just mentioned about hair and clothes, right? So we start again. So which one do you think has more friction? Someone who's wearing full clothes or someone with no clothes? So instead of just lecturing, right? So then we on the annotation mode. We allow kids to draw. Okay, you try. So if those who think number 2 has more friction, you write your name on number 2. If you think number 1 has more friction, you write your name on number 1. So kids will start to draw. Okay, bing. And someone else will start drawing. Oh, I think it's Karen. Yeah, so kids get to play. Then sometimes naughty kids, they start drawing. They start then we can always undo. So we help facilitate and manage this. But kids, when they get to draw, they get to enjoy themselves. So it's not a one-way communication. Okay. So once they give their answer already, then we start sharing the answer. Okay. Once we start sharing the answer, then we share other examples. So then again, sometimes kids, elder ones, they get to relate. Hey, I know who that guy is. This guy from the Star Wars. Then some who are more Star Wars fans, they can even share the character's name. Yeah? Then we can keep teaching while have something that they can relate to. So again, we summarize. So when it comes to high friction, you're slow like a tortoise. When you have low friction, you're fast like the Flash. And kids start to get excited. Hey, I know who the Flash is. The Flash is very fast. So kids get to talk about things that they like. So if as a teacher, you want to make things interesting, remember to include on things in their own world, things that they like. So why is it boring when kids, they start shutting off their video, they just look very bored because there's no interaction. They don't get to talk, only teacher get to talk. Yeah. So these are the ways that we make it interesting. So the last one is real world application. We really like this a lot because I got this inspiration from a museum in Japan. I went to this Japan museum. It's in one of the man-made buildings. I forgot the name already. I think it's Mirakan Museum. It's very interesting because one of the things I learned is there are sections where they don't give you the answer. They give you a problem, a real world problem. Then they give you some tools. How do people solve this problem? Then they use some actual toy or magnet or balls to help you play and think, maybe you can use this to solve the solution. So in the end, they don't get the answers from the museum. They just get more questions. What if we do this? So I get very curious about AI. I get very curious about machine learning right after the museum. But they didn't tell me how do they apply it. Yeah, so this is something very interesting where I implement it in my lessons as well, real world application. So we talk about friction. Which one has more friction? Hands or legs or the sole of the shoes? Yeah, then they start writing, oh, this one has more friction. So how do they apply friction? They put it on the shoes. Then we don't give them the answer. We ask them, how does this help the shoe? Oh, it makes it less slippery. Then some kids will start telling, yeah, sometimes when my shoe don't have the bottom anymore, I get very slippery, I fall down. So kids get to talk about it. So if we can, we don't give them the answer unless they really don't have the answer. No? Okay. So then we give them more real world application, matches, floor mats. Then this is another fun part, treasure hunt. So after we talk about the friction, we talk about high resistance, right? So then we start sharing. Okay, you have 2 minutes, go around the house and look for something that's high friction. Go around the house and find something that's low friction. Then they start running already. They start asking, oh, give me something that's high friction. Or they start being very creative. And sometimes they really surprise us that things that we didn't think about. Yeah, so these are ways that give them a lot of space to come up with their own answers, come up with their own decision on what to bring to you. All right. Then end of the day must always have quiz again, just to check whether they understand what you mean or not. Okay. So again, I ask them, what is resistant? So sometimes they can start writing. For some questions, they can start drawing. Like we talk about hand position, which one is better? Then start drawing the hand position. So these are things that can keep things exciting. No? Yeah. So the quiz is very important. Then we play sound effect. Yay! We play the clap sound. So all this can be downloaded on the internet. Okay. So this slides that we use. It's only half an hour. So I hope that ideas help you with your question about how to make online interesting. I hope that's helpful. Maybe parents, if you are sharing with your tuition teacher or you're sharing with a school teacher, you can give them as an idea, but remember they are also very stressed about it. So try not to force, hey, that teacher did this, so effective, why you didn't do this? Don't give them this kind of stress. Teachers are very stressed really, but something can give, maybe we can do this. Maybe what if we do some treasure hunt about this concept? Maybe when let's say they are a very young child, maybe you can ask them to arrange the erasers when they are doing maths. So these are things that you can give some ideas. So whether the teachers take it or not, whether they got time or not, that's another question. But you can always share. Because sometimes it's not they don't want to, they don't know how to. Yeah. All right. So time is almost up. Thank you very much for sharing, for listening. And any other questions that you have that you would like me to answer? If not, I would really love someone to actually share the habit of having one diamond of the day. What is something that you take home today? I would love to hear from someone new that haven't shared on the last week. Yeah, maybe we can start with Sue Ann.
Okay. Thanks, EJ, for your sharing. What I learned today is giving the yes choices. Yes choice. Yeah, this actually very good because both ways also they get to do what they're supposed to do, and they learn responsibility from there. Very good. So we no longer ask them, do you want to clean your room? Do you want to eat broccoli? Yeah. do you want to swim? Yeah, we give them, do you want this or that? Both is your choice. The younger they are, the easier it is to make. Yeah. Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you for sharing your learning. Next, any volunteers? Someone who haven't shared last week? Maybe Farah would like to share a diamond that you've learned today. What's the most impactful learning point that you've picked up today?
Okay, so today I actually learned about how to, make your child to feel confident. But actually, I don't have a child, I'm not a mother. But actually, I think what I've learned today is that is how to make the children feel confident, right? Actually, there are step by step that you need to do. First of all, how I really like the yes or yes like method. That one is very very good because you don't really like give them a choice to say no. So like that is a very good method I think I can use in the future. Thank you so much for today's sharing.
Thank you for sharing. All right, next, well, Samantha.
Hi, good evening, everyone. What I learned today is I like the replace the complaint with some positive phrases. When the kids make some decisions or make the wrong decision, we don't complain. Instead, we replace it with more positive sentence, so they can pick up from there. And also, I learned that different age, we have to apply different strategy to coach the kids. So this is what I learned. I pick up today.
Thank you very much for sharing. All right, and let's have one more. Maybe Shirley. I cannot see the whole name.
Hi everyone. Yeah, I'm sure. Yes, the thing actually I like the ideas of giving choices to the kids, but I happen to have 3 boys. They're triplets actually. So the thing is because the age, when I give a choice to one and then the other 2 have different choices, right? Then it conflicts in that way. So I'm still trying to apply a way where I can know today I'll give you a chance to choose, and then tomorrow will be someone else.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah, but there are a lot of techniques I learned today. I really like it, but it's a matter of applying it, because one of my boys have learning disorder. So he has lack of self-confidence. It wasn't so obvious previously, but recently it's been more obvious because he's comparing himself with the brothers. I can't do what they can do, and things like that. So yeah, sometimes I have to really encourage him. We say, no, we don't compare each other. Everybody, as long as you're improving. For example, let's say yesterday you can learn ABC, today you learn DEF, for example. Even though they're already X, Y, Z, you don't try to chase them, no, but you're doing better than yourself. So I think that's way I try to improve his self-confidence in that way. I mean, it's very difficult to have 3 kids and you try not to compare each of them.
That's very true. I see the same in one of my parents also have the same challenge. One of the things I like to do is I would design things that I know that is the strength of that child.
Yeah.
So I have sometimes both same 7 years old, and this child has already learned swimming and she's really confident, very happy with water. The other one has very strong fear, right? But sometimes I would design the game in a way where one time this girl will win, another time this girl will win. I would tweak the game in a way that's unfair to this girl.
Okay.
So I'll look at that strength and she will have that chance. So when I do that, she not only just hear my words that it's everybody have a different strength. Yeah. She actually experienced that. Oh, really? Yeah, I get to see my strength. So sometimes we have to think about what else are they good at, and how can I rig the game where he can win and the rest cannot. So you can change the rules a little bit that's not too obvious. So one of the things we do is sometimes counting. So I get both of them to hold their breath. So one of the girls, I would say, okay, let's see who can hold their breath a bit longer. And so then I count slower for this girl, I count faster for this girl. I say, oh, you can do 10 seconds. But what I do, I start with small goals. I don't straight away, let's see what's your limit. If I give them a limit, the other one will exceed very long already. So I'll give them, okay, let's see who can hold their breath for 5 seconds. She'll start at 5 seconds. Then this girl, 5, 6, 7, 7. Wow, you did 7. I asked you to do only 5, but you did 7. So that I like students who do more than their goal. Suddenly they feel so confident. Okay, you win this round. Let's change another game. So you see, the other girl don't have a chance to actually play the game again. Is it?
Yeah.
These are the ways that I tweak. So then they get to see their strengths pretty well.
Okay.
Of course, you will also get the other child also say, no, I can actually do more. I want to show you.
Yeah, I know. They are very competitive in that way.
Yeah. So that's a time where, let's say from this girl, when she goes to toilet, then I say, okay, do you want to drink some water? You can go back to your mom. Then I will share privately with this child. I say, okay, I know you're a lot better. One of the things we want to learn is to be a very good leader. You know what's a good leader? Someone who people likes to follow. Yeah? Do you like people following you? Do you like people like you a lot? And say, yes, I want to be a leader. So I give a very vague, simple description of what a leader is. Then from there I said, okay, a good leader sometimes don't win all the time. A good leader sometimes lets someone else win. Let someone feel that they are better, just to make them feel confident, because confidence is very important. Yeah, feeling good about yourself is very important. Do you like to feel good about yourself? So I keep giving a lot of examples for them to say, I want to be a better leader. Then suddenly she will intentionally lose for her. So then I get to play that game. So this is something that I like to play a lot, and eventually their confidence from cannot become can already. Then they feel like almost the same level.
All right, thanks for sharing.
You're welcome. All right, anything else? Anyone else? Let's get one more. Lei Ping, last sharing. Huh?
Hi, EJ.
Hi, Lei Ping.
I have 3 boys, 3 wonderful boys, which is 12, 10, and 7.
12, 10, and 7.
My most difficulties is actually my eldest. She thinks that I asked him about the question that you have published. Okay. Actually, it says I don't have negative thoughts, which means he asked me, do I feel like I'm overconfident? He says I'm not, but he says sometimes dad feel that way. His dad feel that way. His daddy feel that way. We think that he is not overconfident.
Oh, that is very good. That's very good. If he's able to identify, like his dad has this weakness, then you can start discussing with your husband as well on how he can be more vulnerable and share, this is the weakness that I have. This is something I want to improve as well. Because sometimes what we want is, some of our child don't know our own limits, so our child become overconfident about their abilities, you see. But when we can get our own self or our own husband to be vulnerable about our own weaknesses, feel it's okay to have weaknesses, and we really want to do something about it. So the first thing is to be able to identify our own. So if sometimes if you ask them what weakness they have, immediately they cannot think of anything. Because if they say, oh, I got no weakness, that's actually a good sign because they're really confident. That's good. So just to tweak the overconfidence is just to show a little bit of vulnerability. That it's okay to be wrong.
But sometimes he never admit that he's wrong. That's the problem. That's the difficult. We wish that he could listen. Sometimes just listen to what we like, the advice that we have given him. But sometimes he does not take it. But it has to take maybe more longer time to let him discover that his mistake is. We don't argue about it. If I keep arguing, and then it's become more chaotic in the family. So the brothers, when they see it, then they will start to say, daddy don't allow this, daddy don't allow that, mommy don't allow this, mommy don't allow that. That's the problem that I see. So by giving them the authority to speak, that I think is much more important.
That's true. That's true. When it comes to overconfidence, I actually got a small video that I've seen before. Later I'll share it in a group where you can actually share with them what is the difference between confidence and overconfidence. And before that, before I share that slide, I like to design again a situation where they will fail because of overconfidence. But I need to think of the situation. Then whenever they do that, they really fail because they're overconfident. Then I show them the slide. What's the difference? How do you do better?
That's why we say sometimes we do tell, like he don't know what he don't know yet, but we have seen it. But it's very difficult in our position to tell them now. Sometimes I just rather let them hit the roadblock, then they discover themselves.
That's good. That's very good. Yeah, that's the ultimate way to learn.
Yeah, it's a very difficult position sometimes to be balanced. Especially with these boys, I'm sometimes very stressed about them as well. Yeah, thinking too much maybe.
Yeah, I think you're doing really well. As long as you're confident, sometimes even for my own students, I always like them to experience both extremes in order for them to find what is the middle line. So sometimes I would let them fail so much that they sink too low or they float too much in order to find what is in between, what is the middle. Like, let's say I want them to come up for air, or ask them to push as strong as you can until you come up so high. Then tell me what happened after that. Then ask them to push so light until you can't even come up. Then they start to say, oh, this is how too light feels, this is how too heavy it feels. Then they can find. Because sometimes when we say, no, we must push just nice, they can't imagine what is just nice. Hey, you're pushing too strong. Then they intentionally push too light. Hey, you're pushing too light. They intentionally push too strong. So the best is to experience both extremes. I think you're doing really well. Well done, Leping. Right. Thank you, everyone, for sharing. Pek Kun asks, what if they don't like your yes or yes option and they decide to go with no and no? I would use that as an opportunity as well to share that. I love that you don't easily just take two choices. I like that you can think for your own, that sometimes when people give you two choices, you know that is not the only choice. You know that there is a third choice. For example, if someone asks you, do you want a candy or do you want to go into my van? I'll bring you to some nice Disneyland. Right? Those two choices may not be a good choice. You know, a stranger can kidnap you with that. So I like how smart you are when you choose what is the third choice. But sometimes I need you to believe in the choices I give you, because both are advantage for you. And this choice can give you advantage on how it helps you. Second choice can give you advantage on how it helps you. So I need you to stick to this choice for this moment, while I like you always think of the third one. So you actually can take this advantage to teach another lesson as well. Yeah. So this is an advanced child already. So this technique may not work for them anymore. So you have to go into reasoning really. go into reasoning why they do certain things. Yeah. All right. Hope that helps. So thank you, everyone. Have a good night. Very happy to see all of you. Always very excited for this Sunday's sharing session. And thanks again, Philip, for this opportunity, and Eileen for managing.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Take care. Good night. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye. Good night.
Okay, thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Good night.
Okay, good night.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.